Hello everyone, welcome to yet another Cave Divers React. My name is Gus.
I'm Woody. Hi everybody.
And today we will be reacting to a video that was recommended by one of our subscribers. This has been kind of on the queue for like a couple months. And I'm excited that we're going to get to review this video because I think there are some lessons to learn from the video. This was the video from an accident that happened about 30 years ago, 30-something years ago at this point in Canada. And I think there's so much to learn from it. So let's give it a shot and then react to it.
Sounds good.
So 1988.
Telling of the Flynn incident, the whole event itself of a very simple dive, 15 feet of water, just within the vicinity of the diving unit. Wow. Setting up for a simple dog and pony the next day for the Admiral that was going to show up.
Okay, I know that, you know, people like when we play a lot of it, but what I wanted to showcase.
Sorry, everybody, don't shoot us. We stopped the video already. I know some of your comments are like, man, don't do that.
What I wanted to showcase is what he said, which was this is a Navy diving unit, right? So these are guys that are legit divers. They're diving in 15 feet of water, so not super deep. And also they're diving within the confinement of the fleet, within the essentially their area of training, meaning these guys know this place. This is very familiar to it, but yet something will happen. So
all right, and I just want to add two more things that I'm observing since you did stop it here.
Yeah,
Gus stopped it. Number one, I see guys with rebreathers on, could be Draeger rebreathers, and I also see a guy. I'm just pointing this out. I also see a guy with his back facing towards us on the far right. Looks like doubles open circuit. So you have different gear configurations. I'm just making sure everybody sees that, okay?
Yep.
3 divers that day that were going to dive was Stefan Flint, JJ Sharp, and Chris Steer. We loaded the small dive boat with the safety gear, and the day starts.
They've done this probably
guys,
thousands
once again,
of times.
Nice day, fairly simple. Just going to try fairly shallow simulated attack swimming with the new set. So we're going to have 3 buddied up with the one cava diver. Everyone okay with that? Any questions? Okay, guys, get ready to go.
So they're
3
going to do a
divers entered
simulated
the water, 1 diver on a
swim.
float, 2 other divers on buddy lines.
Assault, I guess?
Okay, all 3 divers give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're ready. 3, 2, 1, boy.
I'm going to stop it. Sorry, I'm sorry. All right, listen. I just want people to understand that don't necessarily understand, Gus, about there's a pre-dive process that we go through on rebreathers. Maybe they did it here, and maybe they didn't. We don't know. But I want to point out that before you go into the water, there is a process. I don't have to go through the process with you all in terms of the steps that we do right before going into the water, but the summary of those steps is we are making sure everything is working, proper gases are set, bailout, computers, rebreather is all functioning. It's a simple A, B, C, D mnemonic that we do before we go in the water. Now, we can I have no idea. We can say maybe they did it, maybe they didn't. So I'm reacting. That's all I'm doing is reacting to what I'm seeing. And from what I just saw there, obviously I have to assume they didn't do it, but I don't know. So
yeah, but these are Navy divers. They probably went through a process. But yeah, one of the rules that you learn on the class, and Woody was my instructor on my first rebreather class, is that you never start a dive with a known issue, which I don't think it's always followed in open circuit. Like I've seen people jumping in with a known issue. Like one guy, I remember he tested his BCD inflator and he got stuck and he just punched it. He just punched the inflator.
Right.
And then the button dislodged, and he was like, all right, I'm good.
That's a good point. Really good point.
Not on a rebreather. If that happens on a rebreather, stop.
All right, so let it run a little now.
Yeah.
Let's let people see this run through some now so they can kind of understand why we said these things and stopped it at this point. Now we'll let it play some.
After approximately 30 minutes, the 3 divers surfaced, started to swim to the safety boat.
Okay,
Guys
all
in
divers
doubles.
grab onto the boat. We'll cover the cava diver and float diver first.
2 rebreathers, 1 doubles.
First cava diver gets in, then the float rebreather diver gets in, and in the meantime, nobody's paying attention to this guy in the water. Poor Steph sitting there by himself unattended. Hey, it's only 15 feet of water, easy day.
Who's got the last guy? Where'd Flynn go? Who's got Flynn?
He's gone. They go to the other side of the boat. He's gone.
Okay, standby diver, get ready.
I guess I call the dive comedy of errors. It was a combination of so many things that led to a tragedy.
Good. Can anyone see him?
We launched the lost diver float into the ocean, and the float and the weight went straight to the bottom.
Use this weight belt. Tight to that float. Throw that in.
Okay, so what is, I guess that lost diver float, which didn't float, is just to mark the spot, I guess. So if you drift, at least you know where he disappeared last, or what is that used for? I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's a safety protocol. So basically, it's exactly what you said. It's a marker, and it's to let anybody in the area know that there's a diver down in this particular area.
Yeah.
What I want to comment on is a very subtle point that I just noticed. There were 3 divers that went in, 3 divers that came up. 2 of the divers got back on the boat. This is the subtle point. All 3 of the divers, again, I have not researched back facts, had their hand on the rope hanging off the side of the dinghy. They did. Even the guy that went drowning, his hand was up there. Now, in my mind, if his hand is up there, he's holding on to that, I'm going to eliminate overweighting as dropping him back down there, or even possibly some water in the system, in the rebreather, to make him even more heavy, because his hand was already up there. So it's starting my mind to think, well, what could it be? What would make him let go and sort of pass back out? For me, that's got to be hypoxia. I don't think hypercapnia, because hypercapnia is a CO2 breakthrough, and that's going to make you breathe really fast. I don't even know if you would make it to the surface. So I think it's looking like hypoxia, which means he is at an O2 level, because he still had that loop in his mouth from what I can see on the video, such that it caused him to pass out. Maybe it dropped to 0.12 or 0.11 or even 10%, right? Because we don't know what mix of gas he had in there. Now, the fact that he was doing a shallow dive means really he should have had a gas inside of his bailout canister that was pretty set up for, it could have been air, because they're going 15 or 20 or 25 feet. So did his O2 shut off and he didn't know it, and he wasn't watching his partial pressure of his O2 on the surface? He thought the dive was done, and all of a sudden that partial pressure, both by coming up, partial pressure is going to drop, and the fact that your O2 is off, you could just be sitting there on the surface and all of a sudden pass out. Total speculation on my part, but I think this may help our viewers at least give some possible logical reasons of why would he just slip back down underwater. Go ahead, Gus.
I want to take it a step further, because a lot of people watching this channel are not divers. And if you're a diver and know everything about oxygen toxicity and lack of oxygen and hypoxia, hyperoxia, hypercapnia, all these terms, this perhaps will be boring to you. But what I wanted to say for those of you who are not familiar with all these terms and all this science, basically, what makes us want to breathe is actually CO2 being built up in our system. It's not lack of oxygen, all right? So what Woody's talking about with having 12% or 0.12, 0.10, he said, that's 10% oxygen in the air. The air that we breathe on the surface is typically, and I'm just talking about a sea level, is 21% oxygen.
Yep.
It's not 100% oxygen. We don't breathe oxygen when we're out and about walking around. We're breathing air that is comprised of 21% oxygen roughly and 79% nitrogen. It's actually 78, and 1% is other gases. But the point is, it's not 100% oxygen. And what we know is that in order to sustain life, we have to have, at least, what do we say, 14% or so?
It's
oxygen?
It's different with different people, and honestly, they are still testing that, but I don't think most people are going to be able to maintain consciousness if you start dropping below 12, 13%, you're probably going to start to fall asleep.
Right. And if you're walking around where you live or whatever, that's not going to happen because, again, the air is always 21, so you're far from that limit where you're going to pass out. But if you're in a rebreather, right, a rebreather works because the air is circulated over and over and over again, right? And if you're not adding oxygen to compensate the one that is being used by your body when you're breathing, metabolizing, that oxygen level will continue to decrease. And as you go up, that oxygen percentage, that PO2 level, also decreases as you ascend. So I know he was shallow, but let's say he jumped in and his level was 21% when he jumped in, just to say something, and he stayed there for 20 minutes. It was creeping up to unconscious levels at that point. And by the time he went up, it decreased even lower, which means that he could have passed out. So I think your speculation about hypoxia, which is lower oxygen level, is a valid one. And there's no way you can feel this because, again, the lack of oxygen in the air you don't feel that. What makes you want to breathe and all of that is building up CO2. So that's why I also agree with your idea of hypercapnia, which is high CO2, not being the reason because you will be over breathing. So
Man, I feel like high-fiving you right now. I'm sitting here, and I had the privilege of training you. You were a natural. It wasn't very hard, but man, to hear you talk like this, it's like endearing to me. That's an excellent explanation.
Right. So I just wanted to make sure people understand that when they want to breathe, the urge to breathe is not that you have low oxygen. That has nothing to do with it. That's right. It's all about CO2. So
very good.
You keep getting ready. Get that in there.
That was my weight belt. What are you doing?
Me, wait for the standby. Call over the other boat. Think I'll wait over there.
We need another float. We need another float.
Gus,
okay,
can you?
I have to stop it
here
for a second.
Before you stop it, can you back up?
Okay.
The video. We haven't done this before because we're chopping it up so badly. I want them to see that last part again. But if you back up a few seconds prior to that and let it run through this, what just happened again,
let me go back.
It'll make sense. Otherwise, they're going to be like, wait. I'm losing what happened.
This is going to
help you all understand.
As we play it, I just wanted to showcase one important lesson which we teach on our React Right class and our rescue classes. And I learned this a long time ago, which is calm is contagious, right? That is very important when it comes to dealing with emergencies. Stay calm. Other people seeing you there staying calm, it's contagious. People, just like desperation and craziness and getting all panicked, it's also contagious. And you will see immediately as soon as they drop that, lost diver marker and he sinks, then they throw something else in and it happens to be a weight belt. I don't know why. They threw it in and said, well, that's my weight belt. And everybody starts panicking. Everybody starts yelling, you do this, you do that. And everybody gets, contagious, I guess, with this panic. Calm is contagious, but panic is also contagious. So watch that as it happens.
Ready. Get that in there.
That was my weight belt. What are you doing?
Me, wait for the standby. Call over the other boat. Think I'll wait over there.
We need another float. We need another float.
Hey! We need weights. We need weights.
So they threw all their weights.
The clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. Probably talking no more than a minute. Now the safety diver enters the water in a single tank. He goes down, starts a circle search at the bottom of the ocean. Once he gets down there, after approximately 5 to 10 minutes...
What? I got no air! Guys, come on, we need another set of tanks.
In 15 feet of water, close to the unit, and we didn't find Steph till the next day, 24 hours later. We did not that day pay attention to what we were supposed to be doing, which was looking out for those divers on the surface before they get in the boat. And the next thing you know, we have a young man dead, gone, with a son, a brand new baby son, a brand new wife that for the rest of their life have to grow up without a husband and without a father. 15 feet of water. It can happen to anybody, believe me.
Okay, so I want to make a couple comments here. I'm going to go back to what I said at the beginning, because it seems to me that a lot of what we learn in basic open water one, a pre-dive buddy check, was not done. How in the world, and you heard him say the standby diver, that's like a diver ready to go in if there's an emergency. We actually use that at the Georgia Aquarium. We always have a standby diver that goes in only if there's an emergency.
And also in your ice diving class, right? You guys had a standby diver.
How in the world did the standby diver, also known as the safety diver, jump in and not have any air? I mean, he said, I'm out of air. So that means his tank was empty. They never, ever checked that tank. I can't come to any other conclusion. Why did they throw his weights in? What was the purpose? I'm just trying to think logically. Why would you throw in
Why wouldn't he have
a
him
weight
on?
belt?
If he's a standby diver, right?
But
Why not have it on and
But
ready?
what purpose is there ever to throw in weights? I mean, maybe to sink a surface marker buoy? Honestly, I can't think of a reason why. Hey, let's take your weight belt and throw that in the water.
Yeah.
If you guys know, put your comments on. I don't know. I don't understand when you would ever throw somebody's weights in the water before they get in. Like, it's going to sink right to the bottom. And then finally, I'm going to get back to the gear itself. You had a lot of different gear configurations there. You had guys on open circuit and you had guys on rebreathers. We don't know why, but the guys on the rebreathers are the ones that are having to do a different kind of a pre-dive check with each other than the guys on the open circuit. And I just wonder if all that just got jumbled up and confused by the fact that there's a lot of divers in the water with different types of gear. There's no rule against this, but I love understanding my buddies' rebreather gear. And even more so, Gus, I love when we dive together because we have the same gear configuration. We try to rig things the same. We share ideas. And we understand then exactly what we should be checking for in our pre-dive check. Some people call it an S-drill, but because we have the same exact configuration, and we don't have anybody else in the water with us that has a different configuration, because there's too many different types of gear configurations going on. It could frankly cause confusion at the beginning of the dive.
For sure.
That's my reaction. I mean, it's a strange one. By the way, we researched and tried to find out what happened. Was it hypoxia?
Yeah.
If somebody knows, it would be an awesome comment to add and to clarify this for us.
Yeah. I think this clip is a piece or a chunk from a documentary or a longer movie. I haven't seen it. Again, somebody sent this link to us. Obviously, you can see the link to the original video down in the comments or the description for this video. And yeah, I mean, we did a ton of research. We couldn't really find any information beyond what we know, which is, he made it to the surface, and then all of a sudden he wasn't at the surface anymore. He slipped beneath the surface, and then all of those other errors happened, right? Through the marker is sank. Somebody threw the weights in by mistake, I assume, an accident. The diver who was supposed to be ready wasn't ready to go. It was on an empty tank. Like, it was on and on and on, mistake after mistake after mistake. And on top of that, everybody was yelling and panicking. Obviously they were concerned. Their body was still under the water, but calm is contagious. That's another thing.
Yeah, calm is contagious. And
remember that.
And another theme that I've seen a lot of you all comment on, and I agree with totally, is that the more experience we get as divers, it's kind of weird, but we can start getting complacent. Like, we don't need to do these things, or we did them in our mind. And it really should be just the opposite. I think the more experience we get, the more disciplined we need to be about doing these pre-dive checks, following the rules every single time. I mean, it's really, as I watch these videos, starting to be a message for myself. I'm talking to myself right now. Woody, do your checks every time, every check, and make sure your students always see that's being done as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the best divers in the world go through all of that. I was talking to Brian KCOG, who it's arguably the best diver in the world, he was telling me about that he laid out 42,000 feet of new line in caves during COVID because that's what he was doing. And I got a few funny stories about that I have to tell you, Woody. But you know,
Amazing.
When you think about him diving out there, laying line, exploring new caves, I mean, the checks that he goes through has to be astronomical, right?
He is super disciplined. He does not ever skip a step, at least when I've been with him. He's
No
amazing
cutting
that way.
corners. Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
guys,
guys, thanks, Gus, for playing
Yeah,
that one.
absolutely. Thank you so much for the suggestion. We do have a couple of other ones that we're working on. One massive one that we've received actually hundreds and hundreds of requests to react to this one video. I finally feel that we're in a good position to, be able to record and react to it. And I'm excited about it. I mean, I don't want to say what the video is. I don't want to say who's going to be featured on it or anything like that. But it potentially can be our most popular Cave Diver React video ever.
And Gus, we are getting a lot of comments and encouragement to do our own reenactment.
Yes.
I want to do that. We
videos.
are going to do our own reenactment. We have one kind of in our mind that I think you guys will love. So lots in the pipeline.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. If you're still watching this and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do that. The more subscribers that we have actually watching the videos, the more the YouTube algorithm likes it. They like when our subscribers watch our videos so they can recommend it to even more people, and we continue to grow the channel. As you know, as we grow and we hit these milestones, we want to give back to our subscribers and do, giveaways and stuff like that. It's really cool to see, by the way. People are sending us pictures and videos. Somebody just sent me a video from Germany. They were diving with the Orca torch they won. Pretty cool.
Nice.
It looks cold, though. Super cold. But the Orca torch just doing great. People sending us pictures with their sunglasses and stuff out there having fun.
Yes.
So, we really, really enjoy when we get pictures from you guys and videos as well. And keep the recommendations coming. Again, this video, I don't think I would have found it if it wasn't because somebody recommended it. So Thank you so much. We'll see you next week for another Cave Diver Reacts. Once again, my name is Gus.
Woody, thank you, everybody. Really appreciate the support.
See you next week.